It is my great pleasure to welcome once again revered Swami Yogatmananda ji as our speaker today. He's a well-beloved Swami known to many of our members here, and we're always very happy when he makes time to pay us a visit. It's been too long, Swamiji. Swami Yogatmananda ji joined the Ramakrishna Order in 1976 and received his monastic vows in 1986. Since 2001, he has been serving as the minister in charge of a very active center at the Vedanta Society of Providence, Rhode Island. He's a very popular speaker on Vedanta and leads very well-attended retreats both in this country and in India, including his very popular retreats at Ridgely Manor, upstate New York, not far from here. Amidst his busy schedule, he also manages to serve as the Hindu religious affiliate of Brown University, Providence, Rhode Island, and as the Hindu chaplain at the University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth. As always, Swamiji is offering an intriguing subject for his talk today. It's entitled Sleepwalking. Swamiji, welcome.
Let us for a minute meditate on our true divine nature, which transcends body and mind, transcends space and time. It is one without second. All pervading bliss itself, perfection itself. Om, peace, peace, peace. Thank you, dear Diane, for the very generous introduction. And about the topic today, it is, I was telling her when we were having coffee and snacks that it is at the same time very easy and very difficult. Very easy to understand. The arguments are irrefutable, and yet almost impossible to accept, because something that is illogical and yet experiential. We accept logic only to the extent it supports our experience. When it stops supporting our experience, we go by experience, not by logic anymore. And therefore, although logically today's topic is in a way easy to understand, the mainstream science of psychology, psychiatry does not accept the conclusions that I am going to tell you today. I am sure most of you will not agree with what I am saying. In fact, I will not be too surprised if nobody agrees with me. Because it is difficult because of the tremendous identification that we have with the body. We know intellectually, logically, that I am not the body. It is very easy to demonstrate that I am not body. In such lectures, it is very easy to demonstrate, because your bodies are here. The rest you know. So, it is, we are not really bodies. But still the identification is so strong. It is, therefore, this phenomena of sleepwalking, although not occurring everywhere, but there is a sizable evidence to show that such a thing is. But when we cannot explain something, the tendency in the mainstream scientists is to brush it aside. No, that's not really. It is not. There is no evidence. There is no proof. It is, but proof is there. If we don't want to look at the proof, nobody can prove you anything, It is because the basic thing is I don't want to look at it. So, Swami Vivekananda has spoken about this very deplorable situation in what are called scientists. That if something seems to be strange, you can read it in his introduction on Raja Yoga, that there are strange phenomena occurring. They have been documented, they have been recorded, and one keeps on seeing them now and then. And yet, they are just brushed aside because they do not find an explanation for this. So, therefore, actually it is a very challenging thing that this happens, and yet we don't have an explanation for this. So, it is a challenge, a topic of research for scientists to go and find out the reason, the rationale behind it. Now, this phenomena of sleepwalking has been there for a long time known, mentioned. For a long time means I am talking of thousands of years. It is commonly seen also, but somehow or other psychologists brush it aside. Oh, that happens only in the childhood. I was talking to one of our members who is a practicing clinical psychologist. And when she was in this lecture I had given in Providence about 4 or 5 years ago. And so I didn't have to prepare much for today's talk. It is so when I mentioned she was in that lecture, and then she poo-pooed the whole thing. That no, that sleep, it occurs sometimes in the childhood, and then afterwards we don't see it, and it is an aberration, we don't have to spend energy on that. But for the students of Vedanta, it affords, it brings us a very important opportunity to see our true nature, what we really are. That it is, we consider that I am body. I was telling Diane that, well, I came to New York this morning from Providence, body came. But since, because of the identification, I say, I came. It is, I am hungry. Am I hungry? No, the body, like a car, needs gasoline. When the supply is low, then the indicator comes. And so with the body also, when the fuel is low, then the feeling of hunger comes. Those indicators come. Usually why people eat too much is because as the age advances, these indicators don't function properly. So even though you are not really hungry, you can eat more, and thus, so it is. It is like that. So the body is not hungry. Like your car needs gasoline. Do you say, I am hungry? No, the car needs the gas to be put in, that's all. I am not hungry. Similarly, body has less supply of fuel, and so food is to be put in the tank. I had been to Puerto Rico just a few days ago. Actually, last weekend I was in Puerto Rico. So there we have a nice small Vedanta group, and there I asked one gentleman, hey, have some more food? He said, tanque lleno. In Spanish, tanque lleno. I am full. The tank is full. So it's showing at the stomach, the tank is full. So nothing more can get in it. So it is all about body. But we call it I. So, what is I? What we say as I, it is a combination. Those of you, of course, those who come here regularly have studied a lot of Vedanta. So, just let us spend some time in analyzing that part, that we are, this is the outer body, called gross body. Then there is this subtle body, which is very difficult to understand. We give it a name. Sometimes what happens is you give a name and you feel that you understand it. It is a nomenclature. Give 3-4 names, I understand it. But it is, subtle body is very difficult to understand because you cannot see it. You cannot touch it. You cannot really have any sense organ having any experience of it. Just like software. These days it has become easier to explain because almost everybody deals with what is called hardware and software. Like software is not something that you can touch. Like you see, everybody uses smartphone, isn't it? A smartphone. Now there is a hardware. And then there is programs installed on that. Without those programs, this is just a box, useless. It will not work at all. The system and it has to correspond to the system through which the signals are sent by the telephone towers and all that. Some years ago, a couple of years ago, I got a notice from AT&T that your present phone will not work because we are changing the network, and then after that you will not be able to use your old phone. So because now the phone is there, hardware is there, but the program that makes it work is not corresponding to the hardware. It has to correspond to the hardware. Otherwise, the hardware, it will not be able to run that hardware. So now people understand software and hardware. Not that they have any deep understanding, but at least they are familiar with the words. So our subtle body can be compared to the software. And it has actually, the computers have been designed on that principle. That it has, for example, a processing unit, information processing aspect to it. There is the storage aspect. There is the sensory aspect, the motor aspect. All that in the computer, like there are the input devices connected to computer. These input devices are actually softwares, although function through a hardware. For example, you have a camera input. Now the camera is an outer thing. Actually what goes is the processed information that the computer keeps with it. It is so that camera is an input device. Microphone is an input device. Printer is an output device. That also is actually a program. There is the hardware printer, but that doesn't print. You have to download a driver for it. That driver is software. So it is the software and hardware combination is like that. This body is hardware, but it doesn't function on its own. There is this software, this subtle body. Then there is still further a causal body. Like you have computer, hardware, software, but you are the user of it, isn't it? There is somebody who uses both of them. So that is the causal body. So these three bodies, and then there is the conscious principle that pervades all. It gets reflected in the subtle body, and like therefore one feels I am. So this causal body we have absolutely no way of explaining, but it is, and there is an immense variety in that too. So therefore, it is a funny thing that how do you know that there is causal body and there is difference in causal body? In Vedanta you give an example, that it is, for example, that you have your home, when you are going out, like today you have come from your home, you lock your home, keep the key with you. When you go back, now you go to the same place, open the same house. You don't open somebody else's house. Your key may not work there. So similarly, when you wake up, you go to sleep. In sleep, what is happening? That the gross body is not I anymore. Even this subtle body is not I anymore. I am separated, detached from the gross as well as the subtle body. When I am in deep sleep, I am in causal body. And then when you wake up, isn't it strange that you wake up as the same person? Patrick doesn't wake up as Paula, isn't it? If it is, he went to bed as Patrick, and then when he woke up, he accessed the same subtle and gross body, not something else. And so we know that they are different. Even though you are not connected to any of the body, just as now you are not in the house, you are here. But the key for that house is there with you. And when you go from here back, you go open the same house. So, the same body and the subtle body, let us for convenience keep on calling it as mind. A simpler and more known word than the subtle body. But actually subtle body is far more than what is generally known as mind. But for convenience, we will use the word mind. So, you are separated from body and mind, and yet you have the key so that nobody else enters there. And then you open the doors and get in. Now, this is our personality, that there is the gross body, subtle body, causal body. This ceiling fan there, is a good way of explaining. You see, there are ceiling fans there. Now, what you see from outside are these 5 blades. 5 blades and some outer thing that you see, and when it is put on, when the power enters, the fan starts rotating. So, now the outer body of the fan, in itself it will not be able to run. If you open, see there is a motor in it. That motor starts and then that power gets transferred or transmitted to the blades outside, and then the blades start running. So, but then that motor also will not start till it is powered. Electricity is the causal body. The motor is the subtle body. And the outer fan that you see is the what? Gross body. Thank you very much. So, this is like that, that. So what happens now, it is, if you hold on to what we have discussed so far, the topic becomes easier for you to understand. Now, it is possible that the gross body that you call you can be used by somebody else also. Just like your car. If your friend wants, you can say, okay, you can use mine. Now, the car is yours, but the one who is driving is not you. We had a funny experience once, long ago. I was going in a car to give lecture to one place. It was a defense area, ordnance factory colony. And as our car started going inside, everybody was kind of saluting, giving a big sight to our car to pass first. And I was wondering what happened. I got somewhat elated also. Oh, I am such a known speaker, so they are giving. But that was not the case. The owner who was driving, he said, you know why this is happening? I just bought this car not too long ago, just 2 weeks ago, from the CEO or general manager of this factory. And people still are associating this car with him, and they are showing respect to him. They don't know that this does not belong to that person anymore. So, this is an example that what you call my body. Actually, that day another incident that comes, handy to understand this attachment to body. That general manager was present at that program, and his wife was there, and his wife told the present owner who drove me there, "Oh, my dear car, please take good care of it. I loved it so much. I didn't want to sell it. But my husband, it is easy to put blame on husbands, you see. So it is, he wanted to sell it. So that is how this car, but I love that car. Please take good care of my dear daughter." She said, actually, "It is my daughter, this car. So please take good care." So although this body gets detached, we maintain hold on it, but it can be given hold to somebody else for various reasons. And then this person is not using, the owner is not using the body, and yet the body is doing various functions. It is so, wrong thing to, many psychologists and the psychiatrists, forgive me, Tulsidas. Yeah. So they say no, they in sleepwalking they cannot perform complex functions, which is absolutely wrong. Suppose somebody takes your car for for driving, wants to go somewhere, and is a good driver. Just because you are not driving, that one who is driving is performing all the complex functions. Stops at the stop sign. Let the pedestrians cross. All the rules are followed very meticulously, as if, everything that complex functions are being carried out without a hitch. All complex functions get carried out. The person is different. The subtle body is different. See, subtle and causal body and the reflection of the self, what is commonly known as individual soul or jiva, that has now gone into another gross body, that's soul. Just like somebody will use your car. It is, and all complex functions do get performed. I will tell why I got interested in this topic. Because I saw this one worker at Nagpur, where I was posted for many years. So he was staying with another worker at our center in a same room. So his roommate once told, not as a complaint, but smilingly, "Oh, he goes out every night." Every night. Yes, he goes out and comes back. But he doesn't remember anything of it. Absolutely nothing is remembered. If we ask, "Hey, where did you go at that night?" "Where did I go? I didn't go anywhere. I was here." "No, you did go out." You are hallucinating. It is, no. He used to, then a proof was presented to him. That one day when he went out, it was okay, dry. But in between the rain came. When he came in, and he was shown, "Look, your wet footsteps, muddy footsteps when you are coming in. And when you were going out, there was no mud. So you went out and then you came back." He cannot say no now with this evidence. But he has no memory, no explanation can he give. that where did I go? No, I don't know anything. Like when somebody takes your car, you don't know where that person went. It is unless that person lets you know. It is, you don't know where that person went. Similarly, where this body went. Now the problem is we are identifying the person with the body. We used to have, our wonderful, great devotee who served the center for many decades, passed away about 3 years ago, Joan. Many of you might have seen Joan. Do you remember Paula? Joan, yeah. So, somebody called and I picked up the phone. I would like to talk to Joan. Is she there? I said, okay, hold on, let me see. And I saw that her car was there. So I said, her car is here, so she should be here. It is, and I looked for, the car was certainly there, but she was not there. She had gone out for a walk or whatever. And once exactly opposite. Joan was here, but her car was given to, I think, her daughter took the car. So, she was here, though the car was not there. So, this identifying a person by car is not correct. That it is the car and the person, they are not the same, they are different. So, similarly, identifying body with the person is equally wrong. Now that worker, that young man who used to do this, had to perform very complex functions. He had to open 3 doors. One was, of course, he had to it was a bolt from inside. He would take out the bolt and go. Then he had to use exact keys to open a grill door and the outer gate. And go out, come back, and again lock everything. Tell me, isn't it complex function? As when you are in sleep, you will not be able to do those things. In sleep, even you may just change the sides. That much complexity is allowed. It is. So, but you cannot perform these complex functions. And many psychiatrists, it is a written evidence by many of them that no, in somnambulism, they cannot perform complex acts. Tell me, isn't it complex act? It is, and they do perform. I saw another case, similar. Although this one was very close. The another was that a person I remotely knew. Her wedding was, I knew her brother, and her wedding was to take place in their native village. That lady knew no English at all. And the wedding had to be, stopped, because suddenly this young lady started talking aloud all gibberish nonsense in English language. English language. And I knew her brother also said she didn't know any English. She knew maybe ABCD, that's all. It is. But she was talking in English. Now what is it? Somebody else was using that body. That knowledge of English was in that subtle body that was getting expressed through this gross body. And thus, this is, you can see that I am not the body. There have been many criminal cases where a person was let off of some serious crime because that person didn't really do it, although all evidence showed that that person did it. But there was the evidence of this sleepwalking. And another reason that he was acquitted was there was no motive why that person would kill like that. So it is because of sleepwalking that that person was acquitted but kept in prison. Because again somebody may enter in his body and commit murder. So therefore, although you didn't commit, but just as it is somebody stole somebody's gun and killed, now the one who owns the gun has the responsibility of the safe custody of that gun. And so why your gun was used for the crime, so you are also, subject to punishment. So you didn't do it, somebody used your body. And to put it in a simple way, okay, we won't imprison you, but we will imprison your body. So it is because your body did commit the crime, so we will imprison your body. So on the one hand he was let off, but no, he was also put into prison. There is many such things do happen. That a common trick of those who want to commit a big crime, what they do is first steal a car and then use that car to commit the crime. Leave it at the crime scene and make good. Now the police sees the car, the crime, and then naturally the owner of the car is questioned that you committed this crime. No, my car probably was stolen. I didn't know, I was asleep at home, and gives the evidence that no, I was at home, gives alibi and so forth. So he didn't commit the crime, okay, but his car was used. And the purpose for using it is that this fellow will get caught, because car and the owner of the car, the driver of the car, they get tied together just as the body and I get caught together. And just as it is wrong to identify the person in the car with the car, it is equally wrong to identify I with the body. Now I am coming to this spiritual practice. That is why in all our Vedanta books, in fact in all religious literature, you find, learn therefore to disidentify yourself from body. You are not the body. It is easy to read and easy intellectually to understand, but one has to keep on practicing this, that no, I cannot be the body. The body is just a piece of matter. How can I be that? It is, in Vedanta they call it Chit Jada Granthi, means the conscious and the non-conscious or inert is tied through ignorance. That is, so I, the conscious entity, gets identified with a heap of flesh, blood like that. That's all. Imagine, this heap of flesh, blood and all that, that I call Yogatmananda. What it is changing every moment. I was given a wonderful breakfast at this New York center. Great, just for that I should keep on coming here very often. So it is, so now that which was outside now has become my part. The body is just processed food, isn't it? It cannot be I. So see that it is not I. This heap of this matter I call I, and that similar heap I call Diane. How wrong it is, isn't it? There is no meaning to such things. They are just the same electrons, protons, or whatever fundamental particles you want to talk about. They are all that. Same thing. How can I be body? I cannot. But I use body. I use the body. We cannot sleep with this heavy coat of body on us. Just as if you have a winter jacket, heavy winter jacket. So when I went out for a walk just before the talk, then I had put it on. But now it is too heavy to put on and stand for giving lecture. So I put it out on the hanger. I put it there. When I need, I put it on. So when we go to sleep, you cannot go to sleep. Do you go to bed with all these heavy coats, jackets and all? Impossible to sleep. You keep them, put it on hanger, and that's it. And then you go to sleep. So when we go to sleep, we keep this gross body also detached. Keep it away so that we can sleep. With gross body on, we cannot sleep. So first thing we do is remove the gross body. Then first part of sleep begins, as it were. It is called REM sleep. Rapid eye movement sleep. That it is your subtle body is still connected to you. Gross body you have detached. That is all that you see dreams. Dreams, it is by the objective measurements, putting electrodes and all, this sleep analysts determine that when there is the rapid eye movement sleep, the person is dreaming. So, and those experiences, as it were, are depicted in the eye. Our eyes are great indicators. So, so you dream there. That is, when gross body is not functioning, this subtle body is still connected with you. And therefore, you see your subtle body, our subtle body is tremendously versatile. Just as I was giving the example of fan. The blades of the fan, the outer thing, it can do only that much function. It doesn't have much versatility. But when you come to motor, the versatility increases. You can use that motor for various things. So, similarly, this subtle body has much more versatility than the gross body. It is And that you can feel it in the dream if you remember the dream. What happens is, the dream experience is exactly not presentable in waking state language. Our waking state language is very limited. The dream experience is too rich to express in our waking state language. But its versatility is tremendous. Here, even, to a person who has all the time in life grown up in this upstate New York, goes to, say, Alabama, finds it difficult to understand the English language there. It is English, but the accent, southern accent, is so different. It is, so you don't understand even the English language. All languages like that, those people who grew up in Kolkata speak Bengali, they know Bengali, send them to Sylhet, and they cannot understand a word. So it is like that. We do not understand even the same language of other person. What to speak of understanding, say, Swahili and all that, we never heard. So, but in dream, try to think, in dream, you are there in the dream. You don't see a dream in which you are not there. Just as in waking state, you don't have any waking state experience that you are not therein. So, in dream also, you have to be there to have the dream experience. So this dream experience, you see, in dream you have no language barriers. You can easily understand the languages of plants and stones, let alone other human beings. You understand what that bird is talking and so forth, There is no locomotion difficulty, no traffic jams. You can go to all planets, you can ride a unicorn and all that. In dream it is all possible because of the tremendous versatility that you get in subtle body. That it is like even in the, our hardware, software example, that the software may have lot of capabilities, but it functions only according to the limitations of hardware. Like I have a printer which is black and white. So although this design that I made has colors, it will not be able to print on that because of the hardware limitations. So according to the hardware limitations, that whatever software we have, it gets its functionality. Is this point clear? Yeah. So exactly, the subtle body has a lot of things, but according to the gross body, the hardware, its particular things can get expression, not other things. So it is this gross body, subtle body, and causal body. It is when you are not using this gross body. In New York, so many people drive taxis. Many of my friends, many of those Indians who came here, and they didn't have money. They came here to study, but how to make the two ends meet. So they would do the daytime, they would go to school, do their studies, and night drive the taxis. So they would rent the taxi that, oh, you are using it during the daytime, I will use it in the night. So they rent the taxi. Okay, mine is night shift, yours is day shift. So similarly, the gross body gets rented. At night, somebody says, you are not using it, isn't it? No, I am not. I am sleeping. So okay, then lend it to me. I will pay you something for that. It is, and then it is taken. And literally, it is taken for a ride. So it is, and you don't know anything about it. Where did it do? What did it do? This body, because you are not that body now at that time. Somebody else is using that body. And so it happens. Same thing we do with many other things. That subletting the apartment, for example, or that having a roommate so that, the rent gets divided into two. In fact, one of our devotees, I was asking her, she was not coming very often because her husband was sick. And then after the husband passed away, she said, now I will be able to come more often. But again, she was not coming very often. What happened? No, I have to go. I have a cat to look after. Heck, why you again had a cat? Don't ask Swami. And as a joke, she said, I needed help with my rent, so I got that cat. So it is a very subtle humor, but see, it is that I need some companion, somebody, so I got that cat. So it is now you need to have somebody in the body also. It is you alone cannot run the body. It is too expensive to have this whole body for yourself. So let me share it with somebody. So somebody else uses when you are not using, that person is using that. And there is no fight, there is no quarrel, because it is an agreement. There is a very nice short story I had read that it is one lady living in an apartment and another friend of hers came to stay with her one day, and then at night as they were sleeping, this friend felt thirsty. So she went to the kitchen refrigerator to get some water, and she saw the whole kitchen floor was littered with cockroaches. All cockroaches everywhere. In New York, do you have cockroaches? Okay, no dearth of them. Okay, so all cockroaches. So next morning she told her friend, the apartment owner, hey, I saw these all cockroaches filled here. She said, I know, but we are at peace. When I am there, they are not there. When they are there, I am not there. So we share this space, We have an arrangement. So when this body is being used by somebody else, okay, then there is no fight. Sometimes there is fight. Because now there is a disagreement, a conflict. That it is, no, this is my time and this is your time. If you do not want that other person, but that other person overpowers you and takes charge of the body, then there is a conflict. And there you have, then you go to the psychiatrist for help. That when there is no problem, you don't go to the doctors, Do you go to doctor saying that, oh doctor, I am very healthy, what can you do for me? So it is, no, when you feel sick, then only you go. So that is that conflict comes. Two subtle bodies. are now vying for the gross body, one gross body. So, and thus somebody gets the honor. That is called in psychology, that disease gets called sometimes as split personality and so forth. But they don't give this kind of analysis. They say something like disassociation, where various names are given. Only one psychiatrist I met who said it is only what Vedanta says can explain this. Nothing else in our science can ever explain it. It is only explanation for such phenomena comes from the Vedanta psychology. That it is the body is being used by somebody else, and that somebody else thus expresses through that body. And you feel sleepwalking. How this person could do such a thing? No, it is a different person using the same body. It is just as a different person can use your car, a different person can use your house, even a different person can use your jacket in winter. Suppose somebody just came, say from India, where there is not such cold weather, and didn't bring all such heavy jackets, and here people have many of such. Okay, you use this mine one today. It is now the jacket belongs to one person, but being used by another person. So by jacket you cannot identify a person. Similarly, by body one should not identify a person, a being. The body is one thing, you are different. So let us learn this. This is a great step, friends, in our spiritual practice. Because identification with body is the biggest obstacle. Biggest obstacle. All big philosophy. You might have studied all Drik Drishya Viveka and Ashtavakra Samhita and Mandukya Karikas and all that. Very good. But unless this practice comes in, that know that I am not the body, actually we do not even go an inch forward. It is a lot of understanding in the brain, but it has to percolate in the practice of transcendence. They transcend this body-mind complex. I am not that. And when one starts seeing this truth, then one starts becoming actually spiritual. It is, see, here it is the big difference between the physical sciences. By physical science I mean the sciences which depend on the sense organs to get conclusions. Now they depend only on an intellectual assent. This Swami Vivekananda points out that this scientist agrees with it. Means what? He gives an intellectual consent to it. Yes, that doesn't mean that that person is actually practicing or experiencing that. No, the practical life can be very different. What you do in lab or in your classrooms or when you are writing a thesis, that is one thing. It doesn't become the life. Because in physical science it is not required. But when we want to practice spirituality, then we have to practice this. Transcendence. Know that body, mind, I am not that. neti neti. And iti iti means I am the Atman. Mano buddhi ahankara chitta ninaham. I am not a mind, intellect or ego principle. I am what? Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. I am the all-pervading, ever-perfect, ever-blissful, that divine entity. That is, as Sri Ramakrishna was never tired of telling, that is the goal of life. God realization is the goal of life. Do you agree, friends? Yes. No? Yes. Everybody agrees? Is there somebody who says, no, I don't agree? Everybody agrees that God realization is the what? Say loudly. Goal of life. Now see the consequences of this statement. If God realization is the goal of life, then just as in a soccer field there is a goal post and you are dribbling and kicking to put the ball in that goal, within that goal post. So if this God realization is the goal, all our activities should converge to get there, to get that experience. So friends, all this analysis was not intended to make you practice sleepwalking. No, just to let us understand that I am not the body, and so it can be used by others. I am not the mind or intellect or any of that. I am the all-pervading Atman, the Spirit. May we get this experience in this life. Like every time I come here, I feel so happy and again, let me expect that sometimes sooner or later in this very body I will come to see you again. Thank you very much. Any questions? Oh, there is somebody has raised a hand there. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much. When living life in this physical aspect, and we come to a period that is extremely difficult, it's very, I find it more difficult to remember that I am not the body, mind, and that there's more, there's everything else. How do we do this whenever life is extremely distracting and difficult?
Actually, it's a very good question, but you do it as I told, every day you do it. When you go to bed, you disidentify from the body and from the mind. Now, so what it tells you is that you can do it. What is happening unconsciously, you can consciously try to do it. That is what is called the science of meditation. Meditate on your true nature and at the same time on this idea that I am not the body. How can I be body? It is not there. Body is so filthy. It is. So how can I be body, I cannot be this body. So it is thus keep on denying, telling that I am not body. On this evidence, you are asserting the truth that I am not body. So gradually this misunderstanding will go away. All, we are habituated to identify with body, but every habit can be removed by counter habit. So put in the counter habit that I am divine, which is true, you are divine. It is, and to experience this divinity, all this misconception that I am this heap of flesh, blood and so forth, that has to be pushed away. And so the practice of meditation. Practice of meditation actually can be done in very, very busy New York life. I don't think that then I have to go to some Himalayan cave. No, not necessary. Right here. Right here. That Adishwarananji used to say that one can do it on a summer evening at Times Square also. So it is possible, feasible, doable, that in this very busy life to keep on remembering I am not the body. And therefore life of Sri Ramakrishna is so important. He was dealing with people around, but could never forget the divinity, divinity of everybody. It is a great thing, to see Sri Ramakrishna acting, working, Sri Ramakrishna in deep Nirvikalpa Samadhi. That is one Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna interacting with devotees is another thing. He is, while interacting, he is not calling Narendra by Sarada. Today is the birth anniversary of Swami Trigunaatitananda, whose pre-monastic name was Sarada. So he wouldn't confuse Naren with Sarada. Naren, Sarada, Balram Babu. No confusion about it. But he always saw all of these as manifestation of Brahman. These Sarda is a wave rising on the ocean. Naren is another wave rising on the ocean. Balram is another wave rising on the ocean. These waves rise, they fall, come and go. The ocean, the Brahman, my true nature remains unaffected. So always see that life and then try to get lesson from it. Yeah, you will do it if you follow the procedure properly. Thank you. Oh, there is somebody here wants to ask a question. Oh, you have a question? Okay.
2 questions, Swamiji.
Oh, my goodness. Double barrel gun, Okay.
Thank you for the talk, Swamiji. And so first is, it's logically, they say, yes, you explained very well, we are not the body and the mind is also changing, so we are consciousness. But how do you understand that you're one with the big consciousness, which is God? How do you, because you are God, how do you get to understand that?
Shall I answer this question first?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes.
It is simple. When you are not the body or not the mind, then you have no limitation of form, you have no limitation of space and time. There cannot be any multiplicity except with space and time. This is simple to see, It is because actually space and time is a direct consequence of our perception of multiplicity. How do I know that this Pushpen sitting here and Diane sitting by his side there, how they are two? Because I see space between them. If there are no multiple objects, there is no space. And this multiplicity being unreal, it is changing constantly. And this change gives the notion of time. If there is no change, there is no time. So, knowing that you are not the gross body or the subtle body, you are neither mind nor body, then you have no limitation. You have no desires. You are perfect. You are one without second. Are you not God then?
Thank you, sir. Second question, Thakur used to say that it's not good to say, if you're conscious of the body, it's not good to say I am he, but have more of a devotional attitude. So it's harmful to say I am he. So how do you reconcile those two things?
Yes, it is. It is wrong to say that I am he when you don't have that experience. There you say I am he only as the ultimate goal. It is not a fact, but something that is to be achieved. It is truth, but yet has not become fact in our life. So to make that as fact, and now begin at practice of devotion, love that. There is no contradiction between them. But just saying, that happens, in many I saw who call themselves non-dualist. Really, I am gradually getting fed up with such people. Because the reason is that they say, I am non-dualist, I have studied all this, and the life is running after all sense pleasures. So what is that? It is, they are materialist people. It is, so non-dualist is a matter of actual experience. And our present experience is to be transformed to get that experience. And there comes the practice of bhakti, devotion. Am I okay?
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. First you ask. Yeah.
Hi, Pranam.
Pranam.
I'm a critical care doctor, and death that I see every day. I've been a student of Vedanta for last 10 years. Swami Sarvapriyananda, I would say, has introduced me. Since 2014, I'm listening to a lot of lectures. So I know, like you say, you're not a body, you're not a mind, you're not consciousness, and you are pure consciousness. But when last week a patient was dying, I was doing CPR, and everything stops. I declared death. I kept asking myself, is he aware that he's dying? So my question is, can you experience that you are not all of this, or can you experience a life without body?
Yes, it is very difficult to explain in words, because being a student of Vedanta and non-dual, this school of Vedanta, you have understood that cannot be explained in words, or mind also cannot appreciate that. And therefore, what one can do, I give you unequivocal assurance that yes, it can be experienced. As Sri Ramakrishna used to say, confidently, God can be seen. This, that I am not body, the body has to die. Whether this body or some other body. Just as every wave that rises has to fall back in the sea, the body has to die. And you can completely separate yourself from that. Again, as I was answering the question of the young lady sitting just before you, that this needs practice. This needs meditation practice. Hearing the lectures is important, very good. And there are not many teachers better than Sarvapriyananda ji. He is great. But listening to lectures is only one small portion in spiritual life. It is like reading lot of recipes without cooking and eating anything. Will that reading the recipes will satisfy your hunger? So exactly same thing. One has to get into practice, friend. And then what your question will find solution there. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for giving us so much food for thought in your lecture. It was wonderful. So my question is that a lot of us, or at least I think sometimes we can fool ourselves into thinking we are making progress. How do you have to judge your own progress. There's nobody else who can tell you where you are.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I sit and he meditates every day, I try to sit down and meditate, and I come out feeling very good and lofty. Hey, I did this, and I salivated a little bit. Hey, I've achieved something. And then something happens and I react in a very basic human way to that, and I feel, hey, falling down back to my baseline. How do you judge progress, or how do you assess that truth from fiction, or you're playing games with your own mind?
There are actually the subjective and objective, both ways of judging the progress. I remember Swami Chetananandji gave a nice retreat in Providence on this, that measuring spiritual progress. How to measure it? It is the external things can be measured. He said that he got inspiration to give this talk by seeing a TV ad. A TV ad that before and after, that there was in between them, before and after there was some exercise equipment. A person was shown inordinately stout like that, and then in between that exercise thing, and then after a slim person. So he said that there should be some such picture, I hope, that before spiritual practice and after spiritual practice. In fact, one such, nice drawing, the one who designed this was fired because that equipment was to be sold in Saudi Arabia. And they read from right to left. So it is. But then can we measure? Yes, there are objective signs of measurement. Objective signs are if you are properly meditating every day, methodically, properly in the sense methodically as the Guru has told, and so forth, not just reading some book. The Guru, whatever Guru has told, if you are practicing faithfully, then after some time, some changes will come. Firstly, your desire for these sensual objects will reduce. This can be, you yourself can feel it, others also can feel it. That, earlier your friends, you used to be going with them to have drink and play bridge or whatever, now you don't like it anymore. So your friends may say, hey, what is happening to you? So that is one change. And you don't feel deprived due to that. You start feeling happy. That is internal, and that happiness will show outside also. Also, your behavior with others, it will be more cooperative and loving. You won't get irritated now and then. It is otherwise always something so that will reduce, then subjective as well as objective. It is so when these things start appearing, then many such things are there. You can see them written very well at the last part of the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It is called Sthita Prajna Lakshana, that the signs of a person of steady wisdom. So many signs are there. There won't be lust or anger coming up. The intensity is reduced. It may not get eliminated quickly, but you will see the intensity is reducing, and it will thus completely vanish. Your joy without that will increase. See, the joy becomes so apparent, It is, I was traveling in a bus in India, and a gentleman sat by my side. It was a long night journey. So he saw, good, you became Swami, okay, fine. But very good, very few people become like you. I appreciate. But by taking up this kind of life, don't you feel that you have missed lot of happy things of life? I looked at him and said, look at my face. Does it look like as if I have missed many things in life? And he said, well, I have not seen a happier face. The point is that, that it is that because the happiness comes from within. We don't allow that to come from within because we put lot of dross on it. And run outside and become miserable. We feel, let me get a big job and then I will become happy. Doesn't happen. Let me get a very nice spouse and I will become happy. Does it happen? No, forget it, So it is. So it is like that. Because we are going away from happiness. When you do meditational practices, you come closer and closer to the source of happiness and you get happiness. Exactly. That they are the signs. Yeah, don't take, let me warn you, don't take those as signs that you are seeing some this and this. That is very, very deceptive. That is not the sign. Now I can predict future. That is not the sign. Please, the signs as told by the scriptures, like I told you, Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, last 20 verses. They are the signs. Thank you. Okay, I think I have answered all possible questions. Thank you very much.